Movies. Everything you see and hear was done on purpose. Everything has meaning. Join Corey Heitschmidt, Justin Eldon, and me, Craig Dickinson, for Reading Between the Reels. Each episode will break down the movies you love and analyze cinematography, sound, performance, and set design to uncover the significance of the filmmaker's choices. Reading Between the Reels, available wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's Halloween time on the Director's Cut once again, as we come together to discuss the sequel to the movie Terrifier, Terrifier 2. So stick around, folks. The show starts right now. Welcome to a special Halloween edition of Collateral Cinema Director's Cut. I'm Bo Maddox.
I'm Robert Ortegon.
And I'm Ashley Chancellor.
And we are podcasting straight from somewhere in South Texas. And yes, my friends, if you have anything of the 420 variety to smoke, smoke it if you've got it, my friends. And happy Halloween, everybody. This is our special bonus content that we do every year around this time. We have our official Halloween episode that we release. And this year we're doing Halloween 5, and we have Miss Kaylee from Once Over with Kaylee on the show. So we will be releasing that along with this one. That one should have been released by now. And this is where we just kind of let loose a little bit and celebrate the spooky season. And what better movie to celebrate October and to celebrate Halloween than Terrifier 2? Written and directed by Damien Leone and starring Lauren Lavera, Elliot Fulham, David Howard Thornton, and many others. It's like, so guys, yeah, this movie was rowdy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Shit. It takes everything that the first movie does, ramps it up as much as it possibly can, and goes on for almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's kind of insane to have a slasher movie that is over 2.5, almost 2.5 hours, right?
Yeah, it was longer than the first one, wasn't it? Damn it.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
Well, and that's, in response to the criticism of the first movie, which Leone himself admits is a problem, is the fact that there wasn't a whole lot of character development or plot in the first one. So he directly addressed that criticism by making the movie over 2 hours, and it actually really helps.
It really does. This time around we actually get a real sense for who the characters are, for how their relationship is, both with Sienna's family and Sienna's friends and whatnot. And also even a lot of the side characters who kind of end up as I guess cannon fodder would be the term for art or gore fodder, like even they seem a little more fleshed out in this movie than in the previous movie. I mean, there were cool characters in the first movie and everything, but a big amount of criticism was levied towards the fact that not a whole lot of character development happens there. I mean, we kind of get an idea for what happens with the protagonist of the first movie, but this time around we really get, more of an idea of, like how Sienna and her brother and her mom, interact with each other, and he takes a little more time, like Leone, he takes a little more time in actually building them up, actually kind of making them feel like real flesh and blood characters this time.
Yes. And also, what a final girl Sienna is. I mean, God, I've never felt so satisfied at a Final Girl performance as Lauren Lavera does. I mean, it's just like taking the archetype to all new levels. I was genuinely impressed. I remember, like, the whole time we were watching the movie, I was like, "That's my Final Girl."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's the final girl now. Yeah.
She absolutely is.
Crazy. Outdid every other final girl.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to adjust Robert's microphone.
Buy me dinner first.
But yeah, I mean, the character of Sienna apparently has her origins in the Ninth Circle, which was one of the original shorts that introduced Art as a character and everything. And apparently in that particular short film, there's a character that has wings and everything and is stalked and attacked by Art. So there's much like Art the Clown himself, this character Sienna, she has a little bit of a precedent, and I really admire how Leone really introduces her, for one. Like we get this cool kind of synthwave soundtrack while she's sitting there doing like pretty much what cosplayers do. You know, she's building her costume from scratch and everything, and it's like it's actually not a half bad character introduction.
No, not at all. And we get plenty of her throughout the film. We get to see her kind of thrive as a character and really work on screen for us. And we even get, there's this subplot involving her and her brother and their late father and the way that their mother raises them after the fact. And so you actually get a chance to connect to these protagonists. And form a connection with them. There's something to work with.
Yeah, like, dude, when she's building her costume, that reminded me of, like, Nightmare 3, where Kristen's putting together her popsicle house.
Exactly.
Remember that?
Yeah. It kind of has that nice little montage to
and
it.
then the soundtrack's playing, too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, wow, man.
And Robert, I remember you bringing up that it has this movie kind of alludes to Nightmare 5 quite a bit, right?
Yeah, 4, actually, where, what's her name? It's not Kristen, it's the other one she passed on the power to, right?
Yeah,
and she's getting ready and she puts everybody's stuff on. It's like, because she got the power and he got the souls or something, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And then there is the immortal Clown Cafe dream sequence that Sienna has, and that in and of itself definitely brings up Dream Warriors. I mean, I think that has kind of been said in certain corners of the internet and on YouTube and whatnot that, this has a really heavy Nightmare on Elm Street. I think it was 5, right? 5.
It's got to be 4.
4 is Dream Child, right?
Yeah.
Or Dream Warriors.
Dream Master, sorry.
Dream Masters.
Dream Warriors Part 3, yeah.
Dream Warriors is Part 3. Okay, so Part 3, I think that is where it's kind of alluding to those those 3 movies where they kind of had the Dream Warriors involved.
Yeah,
and this whole Clown Cafe sequence. I mean, it's bonkers, honestly. Like for one, it doesn't try to hide the fact that it's a kids show. Like you even kind of see the behind the scenes background and everything in some of the shots and whatnot. But of course that's intentional, and you have all the obviously adult children, they're a bunch of adult actors that are kind of dressed like kids and they're on the playground and everything's just so happy and saccharine. But then when you actually see Art show up there, it's just it's pretty hilarious. I mean, in many, many ways, this movie is absolutely fucking just even funnier than the first one.
It does manage to incorporate that humor in it, in with the grotesque kills. Even when you're seeing like the most fucked up shit on screen, Art is hilarious and you almost feel bad for laughing.
I know, right? Like case in point is the Tommy gun massacre in that dream sequence. Like, I mean, and that comes out of nowhere, you know, much like in the first movie, he just pulls out a strap and just blasts Tori or whatever. Or Tara. And it's like, it's so bloody. It's just so over the top, and you know, I just love the glee that he has in his on his face while he's just mowing everybody down, and it's just such a ridiculous, such a cartoonish thing, you know. Like I wouldn't be surprised if there's a certain contingent of horror fans who's going to find this movie too cartoonish in certain areas, right, Robert?
Yeah, freaking hilarious.
It really is.
Yeah. The kids show. I thought Barney was going to come out with him.
I know, right? That would have been hilarious if they brought out a Barney analog. That would have been great. Because I don't know, you probably grew up with the whole Barney backlash, right? You remember back in the 90s where everybody just for some reason really, really fucking hated Barney?
Yeah, I remember the original Barneys.
Yeah. And it's like it would have been hilarious if we would have had something like that, you know. But instead we have the banjo girls singing that Clown Cafe song. You know, it's like food's a little funny at the Clown Cafe. It's like such a stupid and silly little jingle.
And she's got her Pippi Longstocking hair too.
Yeah. She's all Lauren Lavera has her Pippi Longstocking pigtails and everything.
Freaking funny.
It's like, oh my God, man, that sequence to me is like, I mean, it's kind of everything Terrifier is, right?
Yeah, pretty unexpected dream sequence too. So.
Yeah,
And it goes on for quite a while. It's a long scene. And by the end of it, we're all just like singing along to the stupid fucking clown song.
I know, right? Exactly. And I mean, let's see here. The Clown Cafe girl, her name is Leia Voicey. It's like she's kind of the perfect children's show host archetype, right? That's hilarious, dude. I love that sequence, but also the sequence when she wakes up and it turns out that her wings are on fire. You know, it once again it kind of goes into the Nightmare on Elm Street analog. You know, Freddy Krueger's victims waking up, after something happening to them in their dream, or they're able to grab an article of Freddy's clothing or whatnot,
Yeah.
This time she manifested fire out of her dream.
So she would have died in there if she didn't wake up, right?
She probably would have.
Because that fire,
I would imagine that she probably would have.
That fire was real then. Damn it.
I know, and that's because Art is just blasting everybody with a fucking flamethrower now.
She blocks it with the sword, and then it goes under her wings.
Yeah,
Catches it on fire.
Yeah. But yeah, that sequence is a pretty classic horror sequence. But I mean, another notable scene from this movie is, of course, the murder of Sienna's friend, who's giving out treats to local trick-or-treaters and everything, and Art decides to show up there. That's where we see the... It's kind of obviously meant to be the centerpiece of the movie, much like the hacksaw scene.
Yeah. Yeah, it's meant to be the kill that tops that. And on an emotional level, I think it kind of does. I mean, not only do you see the poor girl get skinned alive and dismembered, and we see it actually happen. It's all visible on screen, just like the hacksaw kill. It's just lovingly filmed by Leone, and also the special effects done by Leone as well. This is... I mean, he comes from the special effects side of filmmaking, so of course he was going to go a little more all in on the gore here. And yeah, the gore in that scene, I was just laughing the entire time because once again, it's so cartoonish that, I mean, it's difficult to take seriously for me. It's extremely cartoonish. But where it got me on an emotional level, I think, is when the mom came in and watched it while it was happening. I don't know. As a parent, that got to me. And there's a lot in slasher movies that don't get to me anymore, as I've been exposed to them over the years. But that, anything involving like a parent and child thing or just kids, that fucks with me. And just like watching, like coming in and like watching your child be skinned alive. And I mean, yeah, at the same time, it's kind of humorous because I mean, like Art is just kind of like doing it gleefully, and she's like calling for her daughter and he's like gesturing like she's right here, hello. Like,
and then she moves and she's alive and Art's like, yeah, look, she's alive, see,
laughing and shit.
She's fine,
yeah.
But I mean, it's kind of like just this weird ironic kind of humor, a little bit, like because I mean you think that she is dead. I mean, by all accounts, she should be dead, but he literally just kept her alive just to do that to her mom. So
it's pretty fucked up. And then, he pours salt and bleach on her wounds and
literally puts salt on the wound. It's like, I mean, that's so hilarious to me. It's like Damien Leone. He just kind of thought, okay, now how are we going to just make this worse? How are we going to just make this look even more painful? And it's like, yeah, salt and bleach, sure. It's like I'm surprised he didn't get lemon juice or like in Kung Pao, like open up a thermometer.
The mercury come out.
On the mercury.
So stupid, dude.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't know. Yeah, it's hilarious.
But I do get what Ash is saying about the more emotional level of that scene and everything. And then I mean I think that shows that Damien Leone was trying to take his script in a different way a little bit while still kind of staying true to what we saw in the first movie, but kind of expanding on it. But I mean, me personally, I mean, I just find shit like that to be so over the top and so silly that it's like, oh, of course he's gonna have her mom come in and see all this. It's like that's just hilarious.
Yeah. Then he turns the mom's head into like a candy bowl, right?
Oh yeah, that's funny as well. And like straight up giving kids fucking candy and everything still. It almost kind of reminiscent of Trick or Treat a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Kind of the craziness that we saw in that movie.
Oh yeah, like candy and razor blades all over the place too, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah, right.
Damn.
Yeah. Remember when the dad was he was tanning all the Halloween candies and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
Or that dude who uses that his lollipop as a fucking knife, right?
Yeah.
Jesus. Huh. But yeah, there should be like a Scooby-Doo meets Art the Clown,
Oh man, that would be great if there was like maybe in one of the next sequels, maybe have like an analog to the Scooby-Doo crew and the Mystery Machine and everything. Have a full-on analog.
Unmask the Clown would be funny, right?
That would be ridiculous, But there's no unmasking Art the Clown. But this time around, Art the Clown also has a companion. He has the Pale Girl, who is the Pale Girl is played by Amelie. Hold on one second. Amelie McLean. She's the little pale girl, and she was a really creepy presence throughout this movie in her own right. And just the way that she interacted with Art the Clown is just. I mean, it's once again, it's kind of cute in a way, but also funny, but also just kind of diabolical.
It's like a Joker and Harley Quinn thing, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be interested. Like, what do you think the little pale girl's relationship really is to Art?
They don't really go out and say, because like even at the end, she kind of just lets the protagonists be after they decapitate them and just takes the head away. So it's like it's unclear exactly what her involvement is. I mean, there they're in something together. But what's interesting is that this movie kind of tries to tease at the lore a little bit more, but even in its, almost 2.5 hour runtime, doesn't really spend that much time still divulging on like actual elements of that, just kind of more teasing. And this time it gets the benefit of being able to lean into the supernatural because we got that reveal at the end of the first one. But even so, it's like it opens more questions than it answers.
Yeah, especially with how they introduce the pale girl. Whenever Art is washing his jumpsuit at the laundromat, and she just literally comes out of nowhere. There's no explanation. Like he just sits down and he just kind of looks to the side, and she's just kind of there, And then she shits the floor.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was random.
And then he's like mopping up the invisible shit. And we see from the outsider's perspective, like there's nothing on the floor. He's just but he's still taking the time to clean it up.
And he's literally playing patty cake with air and whatnot. So it's like, obviously it's in his head somewhat, but also she manifests herself to Sienna and to her brother and whatnot. Right. She is able to be seen by other mortal human beings. So, I mean, I don't know.
You got me there. Right?
It's like, I mean, what if like she's the actual mastermind behind the whole the supernatural mastermind behind everything, and Art's just like a familiar or something that she just kind of unleashes,
like the white horse from Halloween 2. Right?
Yeah, something like that.
Michael Myers.
Right.
Do it. Yeah, the soundtrack to this thing, man.
Oh man, the soundtrack is great.
It's like you can just put it on all by itself on a Bluetooth, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much chill wave and synth wave kind of. It's more heavily synth wave because it definitely kind of brings up that really 80s synth vibe, and you were saying that it was kind of similar to the music from Drive a little bit.
Yeah. All that. Drive is all pretty much like synth in the beginning too, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's pretty much all synth music.
All like vape-wave, right?
Maybe not so much vaporwave. It's just more synth wave. Vaporwave is more of obtuse of a concept.
There's a lot of those,
you know. Yeah.
So many names for those.
Seriously.
Chill wave. Yeah.
Simpsons wave.
Right, there you go.
There's even horror wave, which is just synth wave. That's just more like it's just more horror influenced and everything.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah. But I mean, here it's used to really solid effect and whatnot, like both in a horror sense, but also Sienna's theme is really kind of sets the tone for her character. Kind of extremely well.
Retro wave.
Retro wave, something like that.
Yeah, a lot of shit. I don't know. Just naming them off the top of my head, really.
But yeah, this is a great soundtrack to just put on and chill to, even the scary horror ones, I mean, it has a little drive to it, where you're just, bum, 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 bum. It kind of has a little bit of that, something kind of like Goblin or something like John Carpenter's work,
Yeah. Kind of like the way Halloween 3 starts.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
So, did you figure out what you're dressing up as tomorrow?
He wants to dress up as a real guy who murdered 9 people last year.
Oh, you're not doing that.
It's just a costume. You think that guy's still out there?
What's up with you and this clown all of a sudden? You're like obsessed.
They never found his body. What if he decides to come back here?
I wouldn't worry about it.
Wait a minute, aren't you that guy from the costume shop?
Sir, what are you doing?
It wasn't me.
He was covered in blood on his shirt and his hands when he got here.
I'm telling you it was him, Ellie. Right down to the little black dot on the tip of his nose.
You're really weird, you know that?
I believe him.
About what?
Something really bad's gonna happen tonight.
No, I know when Jonathan's lying, okay? I could hear it in his voice. Something's wrong.
Look, we're gonna have fun. Stress-free environment.
Yep.
Speaking of surprises, kids, we have a very special guest with us today, all the way from Miles County. Please welcome Art the Clown.
But yeah, some of the criticisms of this movie I do feel are a little valid. Like, for instance, I mean, I know we said that, you know, almost 2.5 hours. I mean, it does kind of, you know, go by pretty quickly, but
It does.
for a lot of people, this movie kind of dragged a little bit, you know, and it does kind of show that, you know, Leone, he edited this whole movie himself. So he really might want to bring an outside editor in, you know. It's kind of like how, you know, Rob Zombie, you know, like he's a great director and everything, but he really needs somebody to come in and rein in his scripts, you know?
Yeah, looking at you, Halloween reboot rape scene.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
why did that need to be in there in the director's cut? That was
Who fucking knows?
that was a Rob Zombie thing.
Oh, that rape scene was
No.
That was stupid.
Yeah, that's definitely like Rob Zombie just being Rob Zombie right there. It's like, I mean, he has a great grasp of, you know, how horror concepts work and how they mesh and everything, but I mean, he just gets too into the moment with his scripts, you know, if you get what I mean, you know. So you have shit like a random rape scene in a Halloween movie when no Halloween movie with Michael Myers ever had anything like that. So I kind of feel like with Damien Leone, it's like it's not nearly as bad, but he does need an editor to come in and kind of rein in some of the cuts, you know, like there were moments where they could have cut like maybe even just a few seconds off of certain scenes and it would have made it flow even better. And it probably would have brought the runtime to under 2 hours, you know, which would have been probably a little more acceptable to some people.
I've heard a lot of people in that camp, but I've also heard a lot of people in the camp of, you know, the movie's pacing was really good and it didn't even feel like it was over 2 hours. So, you know, it's kind of hard to say when you've got such a polarized opinion on that, but I think maybe keeping it just at or just under 2 hours and trimming a little bit off the scenes would probably be the best thing for both parties involved, because you get enough time to develop your characters, but, you know, you can also do away with just some things that feel extraneous. In my opinion, though, I didn't really feel anything that was too extraneous. I mean, in retrospect, yeah, I could look back on a few scenes and be like, okay, I can see where you can trim a few seconds off of there and it would still work. And sometimes less is more. But, you know, initially watching through this movie, I didn't feel like it necessarily needed to be trimmed. It did work for me.
I mean, yeah, I get that, you know, but I'm saying that I can kind of see how some people would probably kind of balk at that runtime, you know, but yeah, it does feel like it flows, you know, it flows well enough, but maybe rein in a few things, you know. I mean, maybe just like literally just minute cuts, not even cutting entire scenes out, just trim a little off of certain scenes.
Yeah.
You know, mainly the superfluous stuff that isn't like gore related, you know?
Right, exactly. Like, there's a few scenes where I can see you could definitely do that, and the movie would not be worse for it. In fact, for a lot of people, I think that might help. Because, you go to the theater and you watch this, and, sometimes a movie justifies its length and sometimes it doesn't. This is right on the border. For me, it was pretty all right. But then again, I probably zoned out a couple times during the movie too. So
yeah, it does kind of feel like there was a few zone out moments.
Yeah,
here
like
and
that,
there.
like that party scene. It kind of felt like it dragged on a little bit from there. Right?
Yeah, the party scene was a little. Yeah, there was probably some scenes there that probably didn't need to be there, but I mean, it still managed to get, for one, it managed to get Lauren Levera into that costume, which has which has plot relevance. I mean, supposedly it's a character that Sienna's dad created, and she brought it to life.
Like a World of Warcraft
something
character.
like that, World of Warcraft, or maybe like a.
Looking sexy though.
She looks great. Oh no, she looks great in it. But I mean, of course, her mom is going to be a mom and everything, and just be like, your tits are popping out and everything. It's like, yeah, but she's.
What are you gonna do?
She's a Valkyrie.
What are you gonna do, right? She's a Valkyrie, dude. Exactly.
Fucking Valkyrie.
Exactly.
There's also there's a shower scene too.
Yeah, there is a shower scene briefly. It's like. It's pretty brief nudity, and it's
not
from
gratuitous,
behind, so it's not anything like. No, it's not anything too gratuitous. It's just kind of showing her in the shower briefly before she gets dressed.
I heard some people kind of question that because the character's underage, but I'm like, yeah, but in the 80s and 90s slashers, it was very common for the character.
Common to the point that you barely even blink whenever it happens.
As long as the actress is of age, then it's not a big deal.
Yeah, for real. Hell, Linnea Quigley, when she did Return of the Living Dead, how old was she when she did that? And she was still playing a teenager.
See, Lauren Levera is actually about my age, so I can simp for her.
You can simp for. Okay, go ahead and simp for her then. Simp away, simp.
And I think the next movie actually takes place a few years after the first one, if I'm not mistaken. So you have the actress and the character of age now, and you can feel.
Oh yeah, of course.
You can feel all right about it.
Oh yeah. And I am looking forward to watching Terrifier 3. I'm looking forward to that, and that's going to be our Christmas episode, by the way. But anyway,
what's funny is I honestly thought I'd never see these movies.
I know it kind of feels like these movies have kind of been in the background. They've gotten all this acclaim from horror fans and whatnot, and the first movie kind of just passed us by, right?
Yeah, it really did.
It came out in 2016. We started the podcast around 2017, 2018.
2016 is when I got hired on the store.
Yeah. So, the first movie, I wasn't even aware of it until like maybe a year before they started work on the second movie.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't hear about it until the second one,
I think the first time I really heard about it was I saw the Spooky Rice video on it. So that's where I became aware of it. And then I was just like, oh, okay, well, I need to fucking find this movie sometime. I need to check that out. And eventually it became free on Tubi. Mm-hmm. So, now it's actually very easy to watch Terrifier nowadays.
Tubi and Freevee.
I'm watching Terrifier 2 on Prime right now. I don't know.
Freevee with Prime.
Yeah. I think there might be some other streaming apps that it's on, but yeah, it is. It's not that difficult to see these movies, but yeah, it took us so long to get to them, So that's why I kind of felt like, why not do all three this season,
Yeah, and especially because you've been talking about it since Terrifier 2 came out. I remember, like we were doing, I think, Halloween Kills that year, and Bo, you were like, Why do we need to keep doing Halloween movies? Art the Clown is the future of horror. We need to watch the Terrifier movies.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Yeah, that's right, Robert. This is the future of horror, Robert. The future of horror.
Uh-huh.
God damn it, Robert. But yeah, we got with the times now. No, and I get it. It's like, I mean, I'm not going to really sit here and claim that these are like absolutely superlative horror films because, you know, like the first one has its problems, and this one, I kind of feel that Leone probably overcorrected a little bit, and that's why we have the 2 hour, the over 2 hour structure of this movie and everything.
I think it's the best we got right now, right?
It really is, and I don't know. I think that it's, in spite of its flaws, it's just one of those things that you just got to kind of. There's not really a middle ground with it. It's very polarizing. I mean, you're either going to really, really, really love this movie and really get what it's going for, and you're going to really just kind of, understand the grindhouse reverence that this movie has.
Yeah, I mean, this is coming out of an indie circuit, so there's still a lot of those indie feel qualities to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's still very much an indie production, and that's what's kind of made Terrifier 3 a quite impressive in its release. I mean, it outdid Joker 2 Folie à Deux and everything, and
Nice.
That's unheard of for a movie that's not even, it's unrated.
Yeah.
It wasn't even rated by the MPAA, and that's the same with this movie. They had theatrical runs, and they killed it in their theatrical runs. I mean, I think, here, let me bring up the box office here.
The second one was like
See, yeah.
$250,000
Oh,
budget.
yeah, the budget, yeah, $250,000, $250,000. It made $15.7 million in its box office.
Nice.
So this movie, it made its money back and more.
Yeah, the third one made about $8.5 million just the first opening week.
For the first opening weekend. Yeah, and it's still in theaters now.
Still making money, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, horror, even as polarizing as it is, I mean, horror fans are still responding to this series. They still see it for the they see it as just being reverent of all the old school slasher movies, you know. And this movie, it's almost like the penultimate slasher movie, kind of, you know.
Hell yeah,
Definitely,
right? Okay, but anyway, moving along. What was y'all's favorite kills in this movie?
Mine's the one with the. Well, it's got to be the one with the girl where he's skinning her alive too, right?
Oh, yeah, the aforementioned centerpiece of the movie.
Yeah,
arguably.
I think they needed that one to outdo the Hacksaw scene from the first one, right?
Oh yeah.
but then there's the other friend who gets her face melted off with acid.
Oh,
And then her chest beaten in with a modified table leg and her heart ripped out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
Straight up Kano style.
Yeah, no, he went full Kano on her
fatality
and everything. Yeah, no, that was like fatality.
Wait, when is Art the Clown gonna show up in a Mortal Kombat game?
That is a great question, actually. Because it would be hilarious to have him to see what his fatalities would be. Because I mean, he could go full on ham with that shit. You know, it's Mortal Kombat, and especially modern Mortal Kombat.
That would be insane.
Oh my God! It's like if they don't do that in the next Mortal Kombat game, they're out of their minds. They've got to have art there. But I understand that there is a video game in the works about Art the Clown,
A beat 'em up, yeah.
based on Terrifier. Yeah, it's a beat 'em up, old school beat 'em up, and it's like, I don't know. I think that's probably the most logical way to kind of take a character like Art and bring him into the video game realm, other than like what's that? Dead by Daylight. That's the name of that.
I could
series,
see
right?
them doing like an asymmetrical horror kind of thing, like Friday the 13th. But I mean, an old school beat 'em up, I think, kind of it almost fits the spirit of the movies a little bit better because, like you said, they're so reverent of 80s slasher movies. And even like the style of this one and the synthwave soundtrack and everything, they were definitely calling on the 80s.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Retro's in, bro.
Retro is in. Yeah, I mean, hell yeah. Even in music production, I mean, yeah, retro gear is like where it's at. And now it's just like, it is great to hear horror soundtrack composers kind of really leaning hard into like the John Carpenter era of horror slasher soundtracks, Like, I mean, I like to see more of that. So yeah, indie filmmakers, give us more of this. Give us more Drive soundtracks, like all the way. But anyway, I guess that we can go ahead and start wrapping everything up. Let's go ahead and start with some final thoughts. Robert, what are your final thoughts on this movie?
Yeah, I mean, the second one, they pretty much outdid the first one almost.
Yeah.
Well, with like 2 hours and 30 minutes, right? But yeah, it's just as good as the first one, but I can't wait to see the third one though, to see if they outdid the second one, right? And man, yeah, the final act of this movie was like reminded me of a bunch of stuff from the 80s that, brought back a lot of memories. And I don't know, I think it's the movie that everybody should watch right now too,
Absolutely. And I love that, once again, still showing reverence for the history of slasher movies. They made the third movie a Christmas slasher, which has its own storied history in horror.
Maybe like Silent Night, Deadly Night, right? Or something.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Or Don't Open Till Christmas or something like that.
New Year's or Christmas Evil or...
Christmas Evil. Yeah.
Something like that.
Or Rare Exports or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Garbage Day.
Garbage Day. Oh, and one more thing we forgot to mention is that Felissa Rose has a very brief cameo here. And yeah, she follows us on Twitter. So it was awesome to see her in this movie, even if it was just briefly. She was the school's principal.
Yeah.
Who punishes Elliot for the possum incident.
Damn possum.
Damn possums.
I think there was a Cobra Kai star right there. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
A little LaRusso standing right there.
Stupid. Ash, what are your final thoughts on Terrifier 2?
Definitely an improvement over the first one. They took everything that made Terrifier 1 great. Like I said, amped it up in every way that they possibly could. So much so that I'm kind of wondering, what they're gonna do in the sequel to really top it, because they've set that precedent now. They've set that expectation, and obviously, the longer runtime gives the characters more time to breathe. I liked that there was more of a plot this time. Could it be a little bit shorter? Sure, but in my opinion, I don't think that it needed to. That being said, when we're talking about the general consensus, I can see where, a shorter runtime might have helped this appeal to more people. But I think that this definitely addressed a lot of the criticisms of the first movie, which is really what you want out of a horror sequel. And I can definitely say it's a better product for it. So I thoroughly enjoyed Terrifier 2. More excited than ever to watch Terrifier 3. So I think Damien Leone did his job well with this.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. And as for my final thoughts, I feel that Terrifier 2 is kind of a confluence of not just, influences from the 80s, which are very, very obvious, but this is kind of the whole torture porn cycle that we saw in the 2000s kind of finally coming full circle a little bit here,
Going back around.
Yeah. The whole torture porn thing that was really influenced, by like New French Extremity or like, the Japanese movies of like Takashi Miike Shinsuke Skamato or what Shinya Skamato or whatever.
Man-Eater series.
Man-Eater series and whatnot. Yeah. This is kind of just a little bit of everything when it comes to certain horror eras, you know? I mean, it's really, really, I mean, its length is kind of to me, you know, but it still flows well enough that you can sit through it. I mean, there's not a whole lot of waiting in between kills and everything. Not too much anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it twice, and it was just as good as the first time.
Yeah. I mean, the characters are awesome. It's like, I do like that Damien Leone let his characters kind of cook a little more here. You know, they're not nearly as half-baked as what we got in the first movie, you know, which was that was more of like a proof of concept of Art the Clown and of Terrifier as a concept and everything. And this movie is the one that kind of executes that concept a little better, you know? So, I mean, I get why it's polarizing, you know? I'm like, for instance, I'm on the Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs Mutant fan page on Facebook, and they kind of take a dim view of the Terrifier series for some reason. So, and they tend to be really kind of more old school horror, you know, like, I mean, you've seen the Last Drive-In on Shudder, you know, the type of movies that you see on there. And for some reason, they haven't taken to these movies for some reason. So it's like, I mean, I want to say that for certain fans, it's a really your mileage may vary type of thing. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a gore hound. I love just a good old fashioned hilarious slasher movie with all kinds of gore and graphic violence and whatnot. And that delivers. You know, these movies deliver, and this movie delivers it in droves. So, I mean, I am going to say, yeah, you should definitely watch it. But like I said, your mileage is really going to vary depending on what type of horror you're into. You know, there's just certain audiences that are going to be turned off by this, you know, even if they love horror. But I feel like this is just right up my alley enough that I could definitely watch it again and have a good time. So, yeah. Anyway, that wraps up our discussion of Terrifier 2. Ash, I understand that you just released an episode of Collateral Gaming tonight, right?
Yeah, so we just got out our game launch review on Ace Attorney Investigations Collection, so go check that out. And then we'll be starting up our season very soon with Doom 1993 and Doom 2016. And we'll also have a game launch review out on Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. After that, we can finally get into our spooky season content. So hopefully we can get that all out in October. Starting with Silent Hill 2 remake, and then and that's going to be a 2-part review, and then our Halloween special on Amnesia: The Dark Descent. And we'll also be doing the Halloween edition of the bonus round on Parasite Eve. So
yeah, I went back and started up my file again on Parasite Eve last night. I was playing it. It's like, yeah, it's pretty much Resident Evil, but with RPG grinding. So yeah, it'll be interesting to talk about that.
Yeah. I'm excited for that, and we have a lot more planned this season. We're calling it the Golden Season of Collateral Gaming. We'll be covering Ocarina of Time and Super Metroid later this season, so there's a lot of stuff. Yep, a lot of stuff to look forward to, and we're starting it off with Doom, so...
That is awesome. Yeah, and I believe I am going to be on the Doom episode as well. That I'm looking forward to that. You know, it's like Doom is a quick enough game that you could get through in like maybe like a day. You know, It's not. It's easy enough. I mean, if you want to be completionist about it, I mean, it's going to take a little while, but yeah, you can get through Doom pretty quickly. So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
But anyway, yeah. As for Collateral Cinema, by this point, we should have already released our Texas Chainsaw Massacre review. That should be out by now. And our season premiere was Terrifier 1. So if you want to hear our thoughts on the first Terrifier, check out our season premiere for that we just released a couple of weeks ago. Look for that. And we should also have our Halloween 5 episode out with Kaylee from Once Over Kaylee. So, yeah, look for that. And we should be recording our Street Fighter 94 review with Cinema Recall and Film Rage. It's going to be kind of our first double booking. So I'm looking forward to all of that. And, Robert, any news on the short film front?
Oh, no. Just watch Texas Sundown.
Yeah, well, yeah. Watch Texas Sundown on our YouTube channel. You can find it there. It's 11 minutes long, and we put a lot of work into it. So, yeah, check that out. But anyway, you can find Collateral Cinema anywhere you get your podcasts, but especially on Good Pods, where if you go there and you follow us and you give us a 5-star review and even give us a written review and everything, you can help us climb the podcasting charts there. We do still have our place in the top 100, so we're pretty consistently on the charts there. You know, even in our postseason, we are. But you can also find us on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on YouTube, on TuneIn. And as far as social media, you can find us on Twitter, on Blue Sky, especially follow us on Blue Sky. I mean, I understand that the Elon Musk Blockpocalypse is happening, so... yeah, get off the Dead Bird app and come to Blue Sky and join us there. And you can also find us on Threads if that's your thing as well. And also Instagram and Facebook on our shit posting group. You can join us there, and you're more than likely to interact with us directly there than anywhere. So yeah, definitely join us there. And we do have a TeePublic affiliate link where you can buy shirts with our logo for both Collateral Cinema and Collateral Gaming. And we will have newer and more varied designs coming out very soon. I believe Ash floated an Ace Attorney themed shirt, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, we're going to make Robert's catchphrase shirt because, hell yeah. I can't. I won't. Talk to my agent.
They're smart words from a smart man.
Right. Hell yeah. So look for new designs there. And we are on Patreon and on Buy Me a Coffee. So hit us up there. Send us a donation and check out some of our content on Patreon. We're going to have to start making new content for that eventually. It's just... I don't know. We're just not really focused on it right now. But if you feel like you want to check out some of our film commentaries and you want to give us some money every month, by all means, check us out there.
Yeah, give us all your money.
Give us all your money, people.
All of it.
We need all the money. We need all the funds.
We got to build a treehouse.
We got to build a treehouse for the buttercream game.
Yeah.
You know, so we can buttercream.
So we can buttercream all day, you know?
Yes. Yes.
Pick up the Widow Johnson's lazy ass.
Goddamn Widow Jenkins.
Widow Jenkins, whatever.
Well, anyway, that's going to do it for the Halloween edition of The Director's Cut. I've been Bo Maddox.
I'm Robert Ortegon.
And I'm Ashley Chancellor.
And have a happy Halloween. Be safe out there. And go vote, people. Go vote. Laters.
Caucasian! Feed him! He's so hungry! Feed this man! Feed this man! Feed this man!
Drop on by the Clown Cafe, your favorite meals on wheels. The menu is disgusting and it's full of special deals. Nothing here is good for you, so grab yourself a tray, 'cause food's a little funny at the Clown Cafe. Drop on by the Clown Cafe. Drop on by the Clown Cafe. Gobble up your order quick before it runs away, 'cause food's a little funny at the Clown Cafe.
Collateral Cinema is a Collateral Media podcast. All music and movie clips are owned by the respective creators and are used for educational purposes only. Please don't sue us. We're poor.